Please. The smart city, safer city, or the city surveillance projects are coming in big way. All the private vendors are there. They are providing the secure solutions as well. But is there any regulatory framework? Because this is a huge data. They are going to use this SMAC technology in a big way. Data analytic and big data is going to be there. Then any standardization, any audit from the government, then they are going to be secure. Because what happens, that was in the trend which I have seen in India, some projects of city surveillance are implemented by the police, some are implemented by the municipality board, and some are even by the private public partnership model. So how this data, the huge data which is going to be collected, how that can be secured from the government perspective. My second question is...
Can I ask the first one first?
Please.
See, the point is, you're absolutely right. We need to have a policy framework. And that's part of the charter which I have in terms of developing a policy framework. Let's leave that aside because developing a policy is not an overnight task. So the way we are addressing it is, let's see what policies exist. We have the ISO standards, we have ISMS, we have a whole lot of systems in place. What we are saying is, what suits you best? But please adopt it, but don't fail to adopt the policy so that for your system, you have some sort of standardization and you can implement it. What NCIPC or what government is not trying to do at this time is prescribe which particular policy you must adopt. Right? Because we would rather leave it to you and we assume that you know your business. As the guy who's getting the system, we say, adopt a policy, consult us, we tell you what is a good policy. But you won't agree with me that the policy for the banking sector and the policy for the oil sector may necessarily be different in terms of the execution and the details. Right? Does that answer the question?
Yeah. The second question is that information security awareness among masses, the biggest stakeholder for the public. If I share data that last year itself, the entire public of India, they have been frauded for near about 800 to 1200 crores. 800 I am putting it because these are the mature people. Those have lost their money through internet transactions or mobility platform. It may be more because those are not mature and they don't reveal that how much from their account they are losing to their parents. So is there any, to save public from the internet, ongoing internet frauds, either from the host countries or within India? They are residing into different city population. Is there any framework? It has to be a social awareness campaign or some campaign from the government of India. Is there any attempt to?
Yes, there is. There definitely is, and organizations like CERT, like NCIPC and others, we are all trying to reach out to our constituents and say, look, we need to do something about it. And a whole lot of new initiatives are being rolled out. I would not really like to get into details of the initiatives because a lot of them are still in the planning process. So let's just leave it at that.
The last is coming.
I'm sorry, please. When somebody else wants to ask a question. Please, Akka. And for me or the other people out here?
Yeah, two for you and one is for PNB.
Okay, is there one second? Anyone else with a question? Alright, so just leave it to one, we'll take it
Okay.
to another question.
Is telecom network a critical network according to you?
Of course.
Why it is not being included in your...
I told you it's a Dobby list. Please add or reduce. I said this is indicated. Yeah. I perhaps didn't bring it out clearly enough. What the list that I gave was indicated, and if you remember when I said look at the oil sector or the power sector, I didn't break it down into components. Communications is there, and it's very much part of the critical sector. You can't imagine telecom not being part of CIA.
Number two.
We'll just ask this question and then we'll get back to you this time. Because I'm getting dirty looks from Security Watch already.
No, the second question is the critical one, which will put you in the government.
So let him ask and we'll come back to you. Please.
My question was,
For me?
everybody could answer that correctly. Since majority of the requirements could be met of the user or even other folks, in India itself, if you look at a lot of servers being placed within the country, and banks typically or other those kind of transaction pays are in India. So can we have a segregation of network itself, the internet so-called, from internet to Indian internet, and probably make Indian internet more secure, thereby leaving resources for others?
I'll let somebody else also answer, but let me just take this because technology is such that if I talk about segregating us from the international network, the costs and the commercial aspects come into play. It may be far easier for me at a particular time of day to route my traffic through a server in Europe. Right? So there are a whole lot of other things which are coming into play, and at the end of the day, if I start being so restrictive that I am not letting them do what they wanted to do, it's counterproductive. So if I try and isolate Indian internet from the global internet, I will just end up shooting myself in the foot. Right? If anyone else has something to add?
Can I just? Actually, internet has been developed on the principle of openness. So restricting it to a country or to a region violates its basic instinct, that is one. But nevertheless, what we need to do is that it's a sea of information, both sharp, good, bad. So what we need to do at national level, and probably that's what would meet your expectation, is that government level we can think of some national gateway, not to protect or restrict, but at least to sniff, and then some sort of do the analysis of that huge transaction that happens, and then put restrictions and alerts, etc. That could be probably, and in fact, to some extent, that is probably the thought process of the government also. I'm sure that it is happening. On the other hand, at the end point, all of us, be in whatever capacity, as a parent, as a friend, as a security expert, we all need to spread amongst whosoever is under our sphere of influence on what are the basic do's and don'ts at our own level. If we can secure ourselves and thereby secure our neighbors, I am sure that a lot of problems that we are facing in terms of the hackings and other things can be sorted out.
Just to complete that, it would be lovely if you let me read all the data that's flowing in and out of the country. But then we come bang up against a whole lot of other issues, legal frameworks, privacy. Can I actually read the data? Or can I read the data, or can I just limit myself to reading the envelope? Even reading the envelope is a sensitive issue. So the whole thing is much, much larger than is it technically possible. Is it technically possible? The answer is yes. Right? Is it legally possible? I'm not so sure, I don't think so.
Let me answer this question,
For sure.
if you allow me to. Legally and technically it is possible. Nixie tried to do it, but there was certain interest in the private sector which didn't let it do it. And if I give you more details, there will be a lot of time I will be taking. So let me stop it here. And now the question is to you. Now tell me, sir, the government of India, the Department of Telecom has been extending. There is a certain exemption it grants for the equipment to be getting into, audited and then getting into the telecom networks to be, checked, secured, audited and checked and everything. They are extending that deadline for last many times, for 6 months again and again. So shouldn't that person who is extending it should be punished under your IT Act for making networks vulnerable for last so many years by extending that deadline and not letting a center which can audit and certify the equipments as bug free and problem free, not letting those centers getting established in India? Who's responsible for that?
Are you aware of certification? Perhaps we need to do a little bit of background, check the availability, and let me put it to you this way. It's not that it's not happening. If you are saying, is it happening fast enough? I can agree with you, yes, we need to do a whole lot of things more. But if you're saying it is not happening, then perhaps we need to get our facts correct, and I can absolutely discuss this with you. But I think I'll do it later. Anything else?
Another question to PNB, if you allow.
Do I have time? Please.
That data centers were purely proved as fools. They were not able to secure the data center. So what action PNB took against those people who were not able to protect their data center on going on fire?
Sir, in fact, if I can explain, why you said that how to set a data center on fire, probably that was never our intent and could never be an intent of a banker. One. Second aspect is there could be some anomalies which could have been overlooked or could have been there but never been able to diagnose. Could have been a situation. Truly not so. It was pure case of a short circuit which resulted into this kind of a fire.
All right.
So I can say